Hey guys, this is Neil from Real Terrain Hobbies, and today we're going to learn how to take our tree bases from this to this. So stay tuned, and I will see you on the other side. All right, guys, so what I'm going to do is just give you a little overview here of what we're going to be doing. So this is the new tree base here. I've got another foreground set of trees. These are the chestnut trees that I've gotten. Let's see if my camera, yep, there we go, focuses. So these are the chestnut trees. I've already gotten the oak, the big oak tree. And this is the base I had done with that. There's, I put some rocks in there, just out of styrofoam. They're not actual rocks. And some tufts. And then static grass, and actually some little bit of sand here and there as well to give it a little bit of a dirt effect. And here are the spruce trees. You can see there. Very nice. Some more. Got what I ended up getting was a set of the adult trees and also the saplings, and then I just mixed and matched them. You can see over here I got some here, one over here, and it just breaks things up and makes it look a lot more natural, like a forest. So yeah, there you can see the other bases. Here's another one. Actually, I kind of like this, and I like what I did with the rock there. That was pretty good carving. You just, again, I carved it out of high density foam. The pink stuff turned out pretty good, and I can do we'll do a tutorial on how to properly carve rocks, or tutorial, or I'll just show you as I make this next base here. So anyway, this time around, as you can see, I'm going to do something a little differently. I'm going to have it so it's two-tiered. So instead of having it completely flat across like all these other ones here, you can see on this how there's not much depth. You know, there's not many hills. It's just completely flat, and I kind of want to change that this time around. Instead of having it completely flat across, I would like to have one tree slightly higher than the one beside it here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it, and I'm going to put another layer of wood underneath on this side. Probably just one. I think two would be a little too much. But what you want to make sure you don't do is when you cut it, don't do a straight line across, because that's going to be your hill. It'll just be a straight slope down, and it'll look incredibly unnatural. So what I'll do is I'll kind of cut with this. I'll kind of continue this edge here and maybe cut along here like that. Or you can kind of even cut it along there and then put a little dip or a little notch out, or not a notch, but just, you know, some sort of, make it a little wavy to kind of break it up a bit, just to make it look more natural. That side will be higher. And then I'll go ahead, what I did with all these bases to round them off, you can see how it's all, they're rounded on the edges there. I used green stuff along the edge, and basically along these edges here, to cover them up and to make it a nice smooth transition from this piece to the next piece here. So yeah, I'll do the same thing there. And after that, we'll paint, we'll flock, I'll throw sand down. I got sand on a bunch of these, like these spruce evergreens. You use sand. I use, yeah, kind of think about how things are in the real world. And spruce trees, they have really acidic needles, and when they fall, they kill grass. So you don't want grass underneath them, which is why I used sand for those. Whereas things like the oak, we still use grass or static grass. And same with these. I think these are the birch trees there. I use static grass there, whereas over here it's the sand again, if you can see right there. Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll go down to the work area, my shop downstairs, and I'll cut this out. And yeah, so let's go do that. All right, guys, so here we are in my fancy woodworking shop, aka my basement. What I've got here, let's put this over here, is this board here. And it's really thin, exact same stuff, kind of thickness as bases here by foreground are made out of. So same stuff, a particle board I just got from my local hardware store. And what I want to do, so I'm going to cut my extra level out from this, but what I want to do is maintain the same shape as I have of this. And to do that, I'm going to take the center out, and I'll show you why we're going to want to do that in a second. I'm going to go to the edge of my board so I'm not cutting way out in the center and kind of wrecking the whole board. So I'm going to outline from where I want to cut roughly around this guy here. I'm going to kind of trace where I think I might want this to sort of follow. So let's cut this out, and then we're going to take this piece, put it on here, and then trace on there where we want to be cutting this. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so I went ahead and cut that out here. So this is our shape, the old shape. Let's take our new piece, bring it in. It should fit into there nicely, just like so. So there's that. And then this guy is going to fit on top of here, like roughly that. So now you have two tiers, a high spot and a low spot. Let's bring this up a little closer to see. There you go, just like so. Let's take this back upstairs. Okay guys, so here we are, we're back again. Here are my pieces. I'm going to be gluing them back, or gluing them on together now. You can see it just fits just like that and like that. We're going to glue them and then use our green stuff to put it, or to fill it all out and to make it nice and get rid of all these harsh edges. So what I'm going to be using is this LePage Carpenter's glue. Really, you don't have to use Carpenter's glue. You could be using just regular PVA glue, the white glue, and it should work just as fine, but I have this stuff on hand, so that's what I'm going to use. Okay, and what you want to do next is just take the glue out from inside around these edges, because you're going to want the tree base rings, which the trees are going to be attached to be able to fit back inside each of these. And if you got glue on the edges there, it could stop your circles from being pushed in all the way. So I grabbed this screwdriver here, and I'm just going to clean up these edges. Don't worry about these edges, they're just going to be covered up by the green stuff. So there we go. And now I'm going to grab a couple big books and my kids' books, put that on top of there, and we'll just let that dry. All right, so we're back. Everything is glued on together now. As you can see, I've got our multi-layered tree base here, all ready to go somewhat. So what we're going to be doing is adding our green stuff on now, and this is
you haven't heard of green stuff before, it's this, and what it is it's a moldable putty. There we go. And it comes in two colors, as you can see, the blue and the kind of greenish yellow. And you basically cut a strip off however much you want on there, and you mix it all together, and it forms a putty that eventually hardens like rock and is exactly what we want. So before we go into that, and actually this is a pretty big roll. I actually got this roll on eBay for quite a bit cheaper. I think it was eBay, quite a bit cheaper than anywhere else I could find. They're selling strips like this long for a crazy amount of money, and then I found a nice good long roll for a good price. So yeah, before I get into that, what I want to do, I want to kind of clean up my edges around here a little better. Oops, focus is going wild. So for instance here, like I don't want too sharp of a drop off on these edges around here. If you know what I mean, like right there, you can see you're not going to get much of a gradual slope from this level down to this level here. So I'm going to kind of just cut it back, carve it back with my little knife here, and I'm just going to chip away some of this wood on here. So I think that's good. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's get all those shavings out of the way there and cut our green stuff. So I'm thinking at least this amount here I'll be needing. I got a feeling it's going to be more than that even. So pull off our plastic. There we go. And we're going to just start kneading this together, twisting it all over the place. So you can see I've got the green stuff. It is now green. I don't have any more blue, yellow, nothing like that in there. But that's what you want to do. You want to get rid of all the blue, all the green. I mean, all the yellow, green, until you just have a nice green like this, and we're ready to go. So let's go ahead and start applying this on. And there's no real science to this. I'm going to maybe roll it up into sort of, well, yeah, some pieces like that. And just push it on. You want some nice kind of gradual slope. And push it on all the way around. Alright guys, so here we have it. So as you can see, there's nothing, no science about it. You're just ripping off the green stuff and placing it around the edges, making it as smooth as possible. Okay, so we'll see you when this is dry in 1 second. Alright, so we are back. So here we are, the green stuff has completely dried up. It is nice and hard now and ready to go. Let's go ahead, and I'm going to just paint it now, and we're just going to paint it this brown again, which is just a burnt umber. This is just a cheap It's not a fancy paint by any means, but it's just a standard burnt umber. This is just a bigger one that I've got, this particular brand. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw it on there. I've got my my beer stein right here ready to go. We got a nice good old Saskatchewan. It's actually a Saskatchewan take on a German Dunkel, German dark beer, kind of like the Erdengold Dunkel. I don't know if anybody knows what I'm talking about there or not, but anyway. Oh yeah, thought I'd crack out the old beer stein, and it's a Friday night, so why not? So yep, just gonna go ahead and throw some paint on this, let it dry, and we can go ahead and flock and all that fun jazz. Get the tufts on, get some rocks carved out, and make this thing look amazing. So here we go. I'm just gonna slap it on and do that. Okay, there we are. It's all painted up. And actually, let me just quickly check the bottom. I'm going to wreck my paint job a bit here. Right, yeah, I missed a few spots there. I'm going to set it on here like at an angle like that to let it dry. Because if I set it flat now on the paper, it's just going to stick to it. The brown is a good underlayer, then it's, you know, grass in the real world, in the wilderness, not your typical, you know, your picket fenced green lawn, but in the real world, the grass and the weeds and all that, there's a brown underlayer or gray. In this case, I'm going to go with brown, and it's just going to kind of really make things pop and look that much more realistic. So let's let that dry. If you want to go really quickly, you can get a hair blower and blow it dry, and that works great. I may do that. For now, I'm just going to let it air dry a little bit, and I'll come back to it in a few here. And we will get going on our flocking. Sounds good.